Hello everyone, my name is Chris Shadow Gamer. I kind of got bored and I didn't want to do like a super long stream, so I decided to just talk about some of the D&D characters I've made. Oh, this one actually shouldn't be here. Boop. So yeah, this is my D&D Beyond account. Yes, I am subscribed to the thing. So yeah, we'll try to go from order into like what it shows here, and then we'll see how it goes. I'm just waiting because I got nothing better to do for a while until I gotta go do some stuff with some friends. So I just figured, hey, why not do a silly little stream about some of the D&D characters, and if we have some time left over, I'll have stream help me make a character. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna share this one because again, it's probably just gonna be like 30 minutes, 40 minute stream. So let's start with Spite because this is the most recent character I used, as well as the one that is the most powerful out of the group that you see here, the group of 9. I used to have another one called Steamer, but I had to delete that character because this was before I subscribed to D&D Beyond and I needed the space, so we're not going to talk about him. So let's start with Spite. He's right now a level 20 Oathbreaker Paladin. The reason why he's called Spite the Dreadlord is because his name changed once he reached level 20 and he attained the Dreadlord ability. These are his stats. And some of his skill sets, some of the weapons he has. I couldn't add any of the homebrew weapons that we had in the campaign, but this was DM'd by Carlos. I don't know if you guys have heard him on the stream. I think you heard him in some of the Risk of Rain streams we've done. He's been there as a spectator. But yeah, he has a Dancing Greatsword with a homebrew note, which is magic nullifying properties, aka anti-magic. The only thing that could kill Spite, or at least properly do damage to him. Spite, if we go to character and levels, here's a homebrew version of a slime I made dedicated to the reincarnated as a slime character called Remeru. I gave him an ability called Analysis. Due to your ability to digest and learn things, you can also perceive things better and also have a +2 to your intelligence. Please ignore the fact that I suck at writing. My English, I speak English, but I can't type it right it apparently. Healing Coat. Coat a willing creature with your fluids and heal them for 2d6 for every turn they are coated by you. Power Feast. Consume the body of a creature and absorb its power. After absorbing the creature, a certain amount of cards will appear. This is basically a way to nerf the system so I don't just get every power a creature has. The number of cards vary depending on your game master's preference. Each card will consist of either an ability, a passive, or a racial stat. Oh, Roblox opened for some unknown reason. Once the ability is chosen, the cards will disappear and the monster would have to be consumed again for them to appear again for an upgrade to the card or to gain another ability. But you're kind of gonna see how it kind of gets the ability is too powerful. This is really powerful, and it went kind of out of proportion because my DM for some reason absolutely loves to make me powerful. Well, slime body. Because you are a slime, you are immune to fire, cold, paralysis, and non-magical damage, while also being resistant to acid but are vulnerable to lightning due to your water body. These creatures do not need to eat or sleep and are immune to sleep spells. Slime health. Just simple, more health. So, yeah. That's basically the race. Then we have my class. I just stuck with the pure paladin because for the Dreadlord stat because it's really good. Sadly, I never got to use it. A lot of the powers you see here for paladin aren't used much. I'm going to be honest with you, mostly because of what I'm going to show you. But I already showed you the spells he has. I'll probably showcase those more. Here are his stats. I rolled really fucking high for this one. I didn't do anything. I got really lucky with my rolls. So yeah. To continue the description, I made him a noble. He doesn't have any actual background though. These are every single item he has. He has 2 rings of protection, a rapier, 9 lives matter greatsword, 9 lives stealer greatsword, greatsword +3. We didn't have to attune most of our items, so going back to the character sheet. But yeah, as you know, he has access to most paladin spells as well as some other stuff. So you see a lot of bunch of stuff like Hellish Rebuke, Divine Favor, Detect Magic, just paladin stuff. Second level is Branding Smite, Crown of Madness. I abused Crown of Madness so much because it was so much fun to use. But yeah, a bunch of stuff really. So he's proficient with light, heavy, and medium armor as well as shields. He's used to martial and simple weapons. He uses a dragon chest set, and he speaks Celestial due to him being a paladin and working for the church. In his inventory, I already showed you his weapons and the stuff he owns. So yeah, like I said, most of the stuff is just attuned because I wanted to get the stat boost without having to deal with it, but we didn't need an attunement for most of the things we had. This is Divine Sense and Divine Favor. My Lay on Hands healing. This is what it is now, so... Great Weapon Fighting, Spellcasting, Divine Smite. I barely used Divine Smite. I really should have used it more, but I didn't feel the need to use it based on everything that I was able to do because of my absorption ability, my Grand Feast ability. But yeah, these are the stats. These are the racial stats. Power Feast, yeah. Again, no real description. So yeah. Here is where things get interesting. So a lot of this campaign was based off of Final Fantasy VII, I believe. I don't remember which one has the Espers in it, I'm going to be honest. But there was different Espers that he just straight up took out of Final Fantasy. So you have like Andranmek the Wroth, Cuchulain the Impure, so on and so forth. And then we get into the abilities that I categorize. So these are my absorbed powers, where I have elemental imbuement. I can imbue an element with any, or I can imbue a weapon with any element once every 3 rounds of combat for 1d20 of any element. This was a bit powerful. He did buff it, and that's why it's 1d20. Before, I believe it was either 1d6 or something like that, or 2d4, I don't remember. Then we have Pin Missile. Oh wait, I should probably explain to you. So Bite, the first one, I got from absorbing a wolf. Like the first campaign or the first session we did for this campaign, I absorbed a wolf. Then the second one that I was a part of, technically the third session, but I wasn't in the second one, so it's the second session for me. We fought a baby Tarrasque that had the ability to imbue itself with magical energy based on the elements that are in the game. So I was able to absorb that and gain the ability, which is imbue a weapon with any element once every 3 rounds of combat. So that was it. The Pin Missile we got from fighting a cactus that resembled Maractus from Pokemon, according to him. And I can shoot 1d4 spikes from my body, doing 2d4 damage. And the target must make a Constitution saving throw of DC 18. On a fail, they are paralyzed. That was not buffed. That's how it was. Don't ask me. I kept telling him to make it the spell save, but he didn't want to. Then this is where things get a little bit crazy, because later on, we fight a blue dragon. And that blue dragon, by the way, these are not in order whatsoever, so I'm probably going to try my best to tell you them in order. But then we fought a blue dragon, which was known to be a lightning. Those have the element of lightning. The reason why we fought a blue dragon, it was in the sewer system, and my character was actually looking for a blue dragon to fight because I wanted to get rid of my immunity to lightning and just gain, not my immunity. I wanted to get rid of my vulnerability to lightning, so I gained the blue dragon scale armor, so that way I could, just not have to take double damage when it came to lightning powers. But I gained his breath weapon as 4d10 on a dexterity save of 18. And then my DM had me roll a d100. I rolled really high, and then he gave me the dragon wings. So I was able to summon dragon wings. Oh, mind you, another thing I can do is transform into whatever I absorb. So I could technically absorb into that blue dragon if I wanted to. But I never really used that ability much. But yeah, then I gained Draconic Wings Blue Dragon, as you can see down here. So we're just gonna go in order of how everything happened first, and then I'll go. So like you're gonna see me walk past this one, but I'll go back to it later, so don't worry. Then we fought an Esper of Lightning, which I was still vulnerable too because the Esper was right after the dragon, so I didn't have enough time to make the armor. But I helped one of my party members do that, and then after one of my party members collected the totem and added the Esper onto himself, he just absorbed the body that was left over, and he gained, when under half health, he can become resistant to all damage types. So I just became resistant to those damage types. Then, when we continued, we started a war in the campaign between to help the rebels fight in a kingdom, and I defeated something called a person that was called the Duke, and then I gained Pillars of Aracia. Yes, it is a reference to Deep Oaken. No, I did not tell him to do that. No, yes, he just decided to do it because apparently he lacks creativity in certain things. I'm joking. He's a great DM, but basically, once per long rest, I can use an attack that is 30 feet of range and forces the enemy to make a dex save of 16. On fail, they take 1d20 plus strength modifier with 10 feet of knockback along with gaining prone. They just get the prone stat. Then afterwards, we fought something that we call a judge. So, after fighting the judge, we basically just started obliterating him. And once we did fight the... Actually, wait. My bad. I almost forgot. All the way down here, we have the Phoenix Fruit powers. Basically, before fighting the judge, we had to fight this one really weird guy who kept, like, beating the crap out of us. But due to my beautiful, beautiful ingenuity, I was able to get myself unstuck and then pretend to sort of get on the ship. Then I slayed the guy and then removed the anti-magic handcuffs that were on my friends. And then he dropped a fruit. And this was just to test out a concept that he wanted to do for another campaign, which I'm going to be a part of, which hopefully if we do have enough time, I'll get into that character. But I don't know, this one is usually the one that takes a while because of all of his powers. But yeah, I basically have something called a Feather Cannon, a long-range AoE attack with a 60-foot range. Damage is halved if I want to do more than 60 feet of range. Then I roll to hit with Dex modifier, and then the damage is 1d4 times my level. As you can see, things are starting to get a little ridiculous. I was level 10 at the time, so that means 10d4. And then Phoenix Flame Kick. Cover your foot with flame and simply kick. It's 1d6 times level, and the damage is equal to that of... 1d6 times level is the damage, and the range is equal to an unarmed strike. And then I could do partial transformation. Basically Marco from One Piece. But before we actually got captured by the judges, because I mentioned anti-magic again. Basically, we were stuck in a mine filled with like these anti-magic crystals, and my character got stuck. And as an attempt to kill my character, he kind of like shoved an anti-magic crystal into me because anti-magic was the only way to kill me. I was immune to non-magical damage, and most things just like I was just immune to. So after that, my friend came up with this really cool thing because he didn't like the fact that my DM tried killing me for basically no reason. Well, obviously DMs have a reason, but the reason he gave was kind of dumb. So then he was like, hey, wait, he's a slime that can transfer his consciousness over to whatever other piece of slime he has, right? And then we all came to agreement, yes, my slime can do that. And basically, as an experiment, I wanted to make a makeshift phone with my slime. So then my character was like, hey, I have a small piece of his slime here. Can he just... And then I got what he was saying. Hey, Sophie, welcome to the stream. I answered. Don't worry, I answered. It's just I thought we were going to do it at 7:30. But anyway, let me just wrap this up real quick. But yeah, then after fighting a few monsters, an anti-magic crystal just sort of embedded himself into my sword. And then after it was embedded into my sword, I thought But yeah, so basically, like, I just decided to, or I didn't decide it. My DM decided to just embed that crystal into my sword, giving it anti-magic properties, while still maintaining the dancing greatsword, like power. So basically, I had a flying tank. My voice is so low when I stream. Oh. Let me raise that a bit. So yeah, basically, that's how that is. I have some other stuff that I got, but I don't really want to go into details. For example, like the 9 lives, or the rapier +3, or the Vorpal longsword. But the Vorpal longsword is a really funny story because I used that, and that's how I actually managed to get my own Esper. But we'll get into that in a minute. Back to the notes. So then I gained Windslash and Windslam after basically fighting a judge, which was supposed to take us to the capital of whatever the town was. I think it was called not Venetia. That's an actual town. I forgot the name, but it was a city that was basically like really it was a really high power, like a really powerful city that we had to fight in. But basically, we defeated a judge, we jumped out, and we actually took a princess with us, and the princess told us to gather these magical shards, these 3 magical shards that could give absolute stupid power. And the first one we were getting is something called the Dawn Shard. There's a good reason why I said that. But then we go into the tomb, into a tomb of a king to try getting the Dawn Shard. Before we enter, we're met with an Esper. And I was like, you know what? I want to fight this. I want to try killing this thing. And that Esper, if I scroll up, was... Okay, I believe it was Hashmal, the Bringer of Order. Yeah, it was. It was Hashmal, the Bringer of Order. Basically, he was this Esper that could summon volcanoes by slamming his fist into the ground, and then he could do heavy damage. I managed to defeat him mostly solo, but the princess buffed my character using some weird magic where basically we rolled a D100. Depending on the roll we got, that was a multiplier to our total damage because our DM decided, hey, let me give each Esper like over 100,000 health. So, yeah, that's why we needed that buff. But once I defeated him, I gained the absorbed ability of immunity to all magic damage, which I frankly said was a horrible idea, but he decided to give it to me anyway. And I also gained the ability, which is right here, which is summon a volcano to shake the earth while erupting. Everyone in a 30-foot radius must make a dex saving throw, DC 25. On a fail, take 2d20 force and 2d20 fire, and half as much on a successful save. So, this is where we're going to get real ridiculous. Then we fought another Esper within the tomb that was creating an anti-magic field, but, I just skipped a really important part. Sorry. So, as we enter the tomb, we're faced with these puzzles and these walls that we can fight, which are also based off of Final Fantasy. So I defeat a wall on my own, then there's another wall, and then he tells us that there's an abyss at the bottom. And I was like, there's an abyss at the bottom. You know what? I'm immune to magic damage, and I'm immune to fall damage because I'm immune to non-magical damage. Why don't I just jump? So I do, and according to our DM, my character went through like some weird time dilation issue where like it got cold and it was also like a bunch of stuff. Normally the cold would have murdered a normal person, but I'm a slime who's immune to weather type damage, which means fire, ice, things like that. And I just kind of went through it. Then I got swallowed by a platinum dragon, who I then talked to and was like, hey, the church loves talking about you. You are an absolute marvel. No one has seen you guys in thousands of years. Where have you been? And then they're like, I don't know, we're just kind of chilling. We don't really like to go out much. So then my party realizes that now that I've interacted with the platinum dragon, I can now the magical doors have kind of shut down because the platinum dragon was feeding magic to the doors. Then they see another platinum dragon and they begin fighting it. Then my character decides to call them. That's another thing I forgot to mention. The theory with the phones was successful, so my character would just give a piece of his slime every single time he wanted to keep in touch with someone, and then he'd create a makeshift phone out of it. So by creating a makeshift phone, he was able to communicate with people no matter the distance. So he did that, and he was like, "Hey, what's going on up there? Are you guys okay?" And then they said, "We're fighting a platinum dragon." Then my character looks at the platinum dragon in front of me and goes, "Is there another one of you here?" The dragon looks at me and goes, "Yeah, my wife." And I was like, "Ah, your wife is trying to kill my friends." So then we made a joke saying I put her on. I gave my arm to the dragon, and then they put her on speaker. They communicate, and then I get flown back up there. The wife decides to stop killing my people because the husband's like, "No, go back to the kitchen." I'm joking. He did not say that. Anyway. But all jokes aside, like, then my character was like, "Hey, can I have one of your scales?" And then the dragon's like, "Why?" And he goes, "Because I want to absorb it." This whole thing with my character, he wants to absorb everything. So that's kind of the theme that is very obviously going on here. So after he absorbs a piece of the scale, he gains the divine breath, as referenced here, which is 16d8 on a failed save, half as much on a successful, with a DC of 25, and then he also got platinum dragon wings. Then that's when we go into the Esper fight. After we defeat the Esper, after I defeat the Esper, then we get this ability that is somewhere around here. Oh, I guess I didn't get an ability from him. I only got one thing. Oh no, it should be here. I know it's in here. Did I delete it on accident? I might have. I might have actually done that because I'm an idiot. Yeah, I did. Well, basically, I was able to summon these scythe things out of my body and like use them to fight and throw them. But I guess I deleted that during my notes, which is it makes me kind of sad, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, this next Esper was Zodiark, Keeper of Precepts. And then between the time and then right after I got Zodiark, one of the players decided to sort of stop playing, which is understandable. He was going through a rough time. So my DM decided to kill that player, and he had 2 Espers. And he had a minion that had another 4 or 6 Espers, something like that. And then this dumbass of a DM decides, hey, let's just give him all this ammo. He's collecting Espers as well anyway. So now I have more Espers. I attained Adramelech the Wroth and Kuchulam the Impure. Then I myself defeated Hashmal, Bringer of Order, and Zodiark, Keeper of Precepts. And then the minion gave me Ultimai, the High Seraph, Chaos, the Walker of Wheel, Fanfrim, the Darkening Cloud, Zodius, Judge Sal, Zeromus, the Condemner, and then Shemhazai, the Whisperer. Yeah. So that is to give me what is now under the category of Esper powers. The Scythe Throw, why is that here? That should have been up here. That was and then Final Eclipse, those are from Zodiark. Then these are from the rest. Once per long rest, I can heal my party, giving us the effect of a long rest. Gives you access to a spinning wheel. When you spin the wheel, will give you a random effect. The effects are those of the deck of many things, and the effects are not removed upon landing them. So on the off chance I'm God's favorite child and I get extremely lucky, I can just get Wish multiple times in a row. So yeah. And And then I can cast Daylight and Darkness once per short rest, once per long rest. I can judge a creature. If their alignment is evil, their damage is halved. And then I get an ability that allows me to cast Power Word Stun once per long rest without using spell slots. I gain advantage when trying to deceive someone or trying to see if someone is trying to deceive me. Once per long rest, I can call forth a storm of lightning to strike my foes within 200 feet range in a 20-foot radius. On a failed save, they take 1d6 thunder damage for each Esper in your control, and half as much on a success. During this time, I had 10 Espers. That was 10d6. Now I have 13 total because it's the end of the campaign and I decided to collect them all like Pokemon. So, then I gain the ability to cast Enlarge and Reduce at will. I don't know why this is here. This is... Actually, this is... Never mind. That is something else. Half as much on a save. 7. Then I get to do the volcano one I mentioned. I get to multiply my damage by 2. And then I get to summon a trident to pierce my enemies when it rains. And it takes 20d4 piercing damage. Now, that one was from Stormblood and whatnot. Belius Gigas also gave me the ability called Panflare. Guaranteed hit, deals 1d100 fire damage. And then this one was from Stormblood, creating Piercing Rain. And then from killing Zalera, the Fallen Angel, I got Black Flames that are just meant to look cool, which I was perfectly content with. And now let's get into the shards. So, before we killed 3 Espers, before we killed these 3 Espers, which are Zalera, Mateus, and Belius, we, once again, got captured, but this time we went willingly. Why did we go willingly? Because we wanted to continue the story. So yeah, we decided to continue the story, and basically the princess has an infiltrator within the kingdom, and he decides to give us something that they like to call the Power Stone. By the way, almost forgot to mention, after the tomb, we did get the Dawn Shard from defeating Zodiark, so that was pretty cool. And then I absorbed the Power Stone on my 3rd attempt. Advantage on every form of attack, and immediate boost to level 20. This is why I genuinely believe my DM snorts crack cocaine. To continue. Then I absorb the Dawn Shard, healing aura that heals everyone nearby to full health every time it's my turn. Again, smoking crack. And I didn't even write the final shard because it was just ridiculous. But to make a really long story short at this point, after we defeated like the final boss, which wasn't even a fight, he fell flat on his face after an earthquake and killed himself. Like, we didn't even get a final boss. My character, because he had all the Espers, he managed to summon some Esper god that gave him the last shard. He absorbed the last shard and became an omnipotent god. That's my D&D session, right? Or that's the campaign I was in. All of this chaos. Not once in this campaign did I use a paladin power. Well, no. I did use some at the beginning, but after a while, I just didn't feel the need. I forgot to use my weapons at some point because it was just easier to calculate the damage of this than adding my weapons that I was going to do. It just saved more time. Obviously, I know how it works. I can't just do all these weapons at once, but I had a combo where I would use 3 weapons at a time per attack, and I had 2 attacks per action. Yes, my DM allowed this. He confirmed this. This is ridiculous. But yeah, I have to go in 4 minutes, and it looks like someone needs me. So I'm just going to end it there. I'll probably discuss the rest of the characters another time. I decided to do a silly little stream. So yeah, it wasn't a long stream, but it was a stream. So enjoy.